Some more coffee in the brain. There we go. So, Michael, doing stuff as we do. Actually, it might be website 2 today, but anyway, I've credited it with website 1. But yes, I got a new email here. Yes, making sure that there is awareness of 7-day free trial. So yeah, so presumably you got this email as well.
Yes.
Excellent.
It was wonderful.
Your joy was clearly unconfined.
What?
I don't nothing. But yes, well, thanks for taking the plunge there. I guess we've got 7 days to convince you that it's all worth it. I guess I'm also just Brian's just don't know what to say.
Well, I have a rule that that saves so much a month and stuff. So what I do is I offset costs when I buy something. So I've largely offset the cost of that with canceling while reducing my Audible subscription by $1.
Cool.
So
that makes good fiscal sense.
That's the detriment of Amazon.
But right. Well, eventually, I hope we can take. Well, we can buy them and do something nice for them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, indeed. Well, so no, I mean that's we will see. I mean, I think it's exciting. I mean, I love doing Agile Ventures, and I've having some interesting conversations with different people. Like we just got an autism charity just reached out to us, and Brian Giaffra was telling me about how much he appreciated what he got out of Agile Ventures, and he's started this conversation with Launch Code about trying to. Who knows? I mean, if we can just get it so that my wife isn't screaming at me for trying to get a real job, then I'll have achieved some level of personal success. I have, perhaps interestingly, while this morning, my morning,
I think you're gonna have to sell a lot of £10 subscriptions for that.
Yeah, indeed. I think I will. But then well, it's all relative. We might have to rejoin. I might have to force the country to rejoin Europe and then reinflate the value of the pound. And anyway, the interesting thing, I've just been redoing the what I've now renamed from BDD TDD cycle to acceptance as unit test cycle assignment, and it's interesting actually that it's all about a filtering thing, which is very similar to what we were doing yesterday. And I had further thoughts about the filtering thing, but I'm thinking the sensible thing to do is to work on website 2. Other things that I've got going on in the background of my mind that are not necessarily of particular concern for you is that I submitted what I did, the work I did about an hour ago, and it still hasn't done this. The autograder does appear to be online and has answered other people's random homework assignments in that period, but it hasn't answered mine. So anyway, that's kind of a worry in the back of my mind. I'm just getting feedback from Brian about what's he saying there.
Saying you're awful.
No, he's saying that. Well, I mean, I think we all know deep down that I'm awful. He's saying that the image looks low res. Great. Feedback. We'll see if we can increase the resolution. Yeah, this is. I think you'll get the same email in 7 days. This is the automated email from Stripe. That you haven't got yet. Yeah, now I guess there's an interesting thing there about where to store that as a thing to do. I guess the part of the least resistance is just put in my own to-do list rather than worrying about having something else.
Goldman Sachs said that the pound might go below $1.20 a pound.
Well, I remember it being they were on parity when I was like 15, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So it all seems quite a good deal still to me.
Yeah.
And it was, well, I remember variations, but I can remember it being, I think it was like $2 to a pound when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And it's varied between $1 and $2 in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's well, and for me, I mean, you know, yeah, there's a lot more people outside of Britain who might buy Agile Venture Premium subscriptions. So let's go down, pound. What was I going to say here? It's like adjust.
But then you gotta, you have to pay. Like Heroku in dollars, right?
That's true. Well, although I'm set up with Heroku Europe, but I think they are charging me in dollars. Yeah. So that's not as good. Maybe. But
anyway.
Oh well. Just resolution of AV logo in Stripe. Okay. That's added as a to-do thing. So I was just going to show the thing that I noticed, and I then blogged about, to save you having to read my blog, the thing that I noticed yesterday, well, or this morning actually, writing up yesterday's activities, is this include filterable in the user class, which corresponds to this filterable thing that they've created. And I was thinking that, oh, filter is, I remember yesterday I was searching for, is that an active record method? But actually, it's custom, and I assume, I sort of guess this is Brian. Let's have a look.
Active record concern?
No, Norbert Svivos. Yeah, so someone's created an active record concern so that they can call filter on, in principle, any active record model that includes this thing. And so basically it will, this where nil will return everything. And this basically does sort of what we did in the model method yesterday.
Okay.
Which was just, I was, and can I de-annotate this, please? Which I was kind of interested to see or to discover. And so this is sort of more generic. The interesting question is, I don't know if this will work with, if the, like, hypothetically, and we could even, it's even fast enough if we could just do the test. Like, instead of having title that, if we had title tags there in mentors, then we could use the existing filtering mechanism and not need the thing that we added. But what, and I particularly mentioned it because CodeClimate was saying, your method is smelly. Is that the right? Let's look, users, because we set it up here. We did tagged with, I've got here user last dot, this is title tags is the, title taggings. I'm getting confused. We've got it right. So we're doing a query on tagged with, but the, what was the, I thought in order to get the list, and we must have that in the view user list showing the, it must have like display name, title list. Okay. Yeah, so title list is the thing. Does it have a title list? And it looks like it does. I don't know if that can then be used as a filter, but I mean, maybe it just can't. But anyway, just check it. So title list. That'll probably not work, but let's. So if we do that, and then if we got the cucumber user list feature, that was the titles feature was the one that we were working on. So I wonder if that will just break. And there.
One of them broke.
Yeah, I should not see Bob Butcher.
But Bob Butcher's on there.
project is in there. This one worked here. That's interesting. Well, so that one, well, okay, that one hasn't changed because I was only changing the mentors one. Okay. So there's two other things that were that it's somewhat improbable that it's going to work. We've got one to make it allow that title list is an allowed parameter. And the other thing to change would be to remove our filter if as no longer necessary.
Correct.
And so this would be right. Undefined method. Yeah, so we can't call title list on that thing. I mean, so this filterable concern
is calling that method.
It's calling that method. I mean, it's interesting there that it's doing like a public send there on these key value pairs.
Yeah.
Which does that imply that all of these things here, like project filter, time zone filter, online, and so on,
all have,
I guess they're methods that have been set up, or are they? Oh, they're scopes that have been set up. Okay. So there's scopes. Okay.
Kind of.
So that filterable thing has got this bit, as it were, extracted.
Yeah.
I mean, if we created a scope that was called title, and then we just did, can we do like this and just do tagged with title like that? We would do that. And actually then just, it could stay as title then.
Right.
Like so. So having defined the scope, that would then, might have some chance of working? No. That's interesting. So that's not complaining. It's sending title. We're sort of using that as a scope to get the results back. Ah.
So it's ignoring it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the scopes that we will allow things to be filtered by. Wrong number of arguments. User RB60. Oh.
You have to pass title in.
Right. And that's got the argument there is sort of ignoring. So I guess are all of the other.
What?
I'm just thinking project filter here has project ID. So do I just have to call that title?
I don't think so. I think it's saying wrong number of arguments, but go on.
Given 0, expected 1.
So it's not passing something into the block.
Yeah.
So what did you do to set it? Wait, so where does this actually get called?
So if we're in users controller, we've got filter. Before filter is called, we've got set filter parameters.
You need to set the filter parameters to include it.
Well, the filter parameters here is including title.
Oh, I don't know though. And what is it calling? I mean, what's the method that's being called? Just filter?
So the method that's being called is then, the filter is then passed a hash with those sets of things.
But that's not a...
So it's got like, it's going to have like title and then mentor. Well, it's the pseudo hash, right? Duck talks like a quack. I mean...
What? I mean, it's looking for key values, right?
Right. So, I mean,
we're
like
just
here, when we do param slice here, that creates, you know, I mean, the params is a key value hash, right? More or less. And then so it's like, I think when we do this, it takes those key value pairs out. That's what and you know, it then update. So I mean, we can, if we drop in here, we can have a look at what it thinks is going on.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that because the filtering parameters, it then does each key value. So it's going to have like, based on here.
The slice takes it out of the. Yeah.
Right. It's going to have project filter, CS169, time zone filter, UDC, or whatever. It's going to have a series of key value pairs. So here, if we look at filtering params, right, it's got title mentor. So then it's going to try and do on these results.
It's going to try and send.
It's going to try and send like the title and mentor like this. Yeah. And that works now. Because of the other thing that I changed.
What did you change?
I changed in the user, I changed this word to match this word.
Oh. Interesting.
So that works. So that actually then, would we argue that that's a better solution than the one we had yesterday?
Potentially.
It's sort of more with the grain of the way the existing system is working, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So both of those pass. So in principle, and actually then, yeah, this one, it stays the same. We use the same tag. We're just now using that to refer to a scope on user. Instead, we could, in principle, remove this.
And the associated test.
And the associated test, indeed. User spec. So there. I mean, I guess the existing filter tests, which now make more sense, we could be explicitly testing the filtered by title should work, but that seems excessive.
Yeah.
When we have the controller test. And so I guess then we could run these, and I guess in particular that it's we could just push that up because how many pull requests? And in fact, I was going to say that Raoul has it's still open, but I think Raoul has just pushed it through. I was sort of saying, oh, let's not worry about the code climate thing, but I think if that passes there, I'll push that up and make a new pull request, and that's a refactoring. I should push it on different branches because I created an issue yesterday for refactor filtering for users 1203. So I'll do that, and then so that out of the way, we could get on with what I was thinking we would do is we work on the static sites and try and one thing is to get middleman blog in there, and the other one is to like create a separate section for the contacts and separate it from the subscribe thing.
Right.
Do you want to drive on I'll find you a ticket number. Well, we've got sort of general. Well, we're not doing tickets particularly. We're not creating branches. Do you want to grab the master of the static site and
okay.
Yeah, and just we can try and make that contact thing into a contact section. I think at the moment it's just part of the footer.
There was one other already up to date. Okay. All right. So did we want to look into the other thing I reported last night or yesterday.
What was the? Remind me what that was.
So on the showcase, when you click on it, let's see if I can show you. Are we nonprofits now? It's called. When you click, so we changed this to nonprofits at Agile Ventures.
Oh, you said there was a somewhere it still says
sales.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I changed that. Yeah. Yeah, that would be good to change that.
So where would that be? Would that be in a partial?
It's a partial. It's the modal one, I think. Portfolio modal. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I thought I changed it anyway.
So middleman. We click this. There you go, close project. So that fixes that.
Mm-hmm.
Tab. Status. I mean, we could be extracting that out, but
Extracting which thing out? Oh, the email.
The email,
yeah. Let's fix the contact section first, I think. I'm pretty happy with that. What's the word? I think non-profits is the way to go there.
All right. So and now we're thinking to change.
Well, I think that so we've got the footer, which must be a partial. So in the footer, we've got this section. We've got 2 rows, and I think that first row should probably be pulled out into the. So yeah, from line 3 through to 28. If we pull out line 3 to 28 from here and stick it in the bottom of the index and wrap it in its section and call it section contact, I think we should be able to have a more consistent navigation experience.
So what do you? I mean.
I would select lines 3 to 28 and Command X. And then I think that delete that line. That now our footer is back to how it was minimally. So you save that, but then to go into index.html.erb, and we want to look for just above the footer where the footer partial is pulled in. We can find that. That's the timeline. It's further down, I think. Is it partials footer? So we've got actually. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so just there, we want kind of like a section container, just like the one above it.
So like a section.
Yeah, section do ID equals contact. And then close close the section. And then the thing that you've got on your clipboard, throw that in there. I think it might need like a container div around it. Probably good idea to follow it might need columns and things, and yeah, it'll look ridiculous at the moment. It'll need I think if you go back to the code there, you see how in the one above it, so let's got section ID contact. So I think we will need that div class equals container.
I mean, isn't this essentially changing like the look of the site?
I think ultimately it will not look so different. I think it will change the navigation. The idea is to break out, like we want to be able to have the contact set. I mean, it may give it like we may have to change the styling, like the background for the contact thing is probably.
Have to be. Are we so sure that it has to be? I guess it has to be a section. Right?
Well, I guess it has to be a section if we want to navigate it to like a section. I mean, an even simpler thing to do, we could say, as a path of less resistance, would just be to remove the word contact from the thing and only have subscribe up there and leave people to discover the contact section by just scrolling down.
I mean, I'm not totally sure what all these things do in our context. I'm almost tempted just to reverse those changes.
Yeah, do you want to talk more about the strategy? I mean, this is the approach I was thinking of taking, but could be we should be doing it.
I mean, it doesn't, like, to me, it doesn't make sense to hoist this into its own
section,
because I think it totally changes the look of what's going on.
Well, I think it could be in its own section, which will have a white background. I mean, and we can then style it so it looks like the old site.
Section in the footer, I guess, is my question.
Well, yeah, you could try that as a path of less resistance. I mean, I'm not sure what the either way. I think if we're going to call it, if the section's name is going to be contact, right? At the moment, I think that background and all those different things are tied to the section ID equal to contact.
Reversing all those changes.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
But do you know what I mean? Like, if we want to have a section called contact, at the moment, I think the section contact is styled to have that weird map of the world background in black and white.
Right. It's styled to have that?
I think, well, because you just created a section ID contact and it had the same styling.
Well, I don't know if that's really true, but...
Well, everything's a hypothesis.
Footer. It didn't look like it was rendering normally in there. It looked like there was some kind of weirdness going on.
Well, I think there's going to be additional things with spacing and so on. But yeah, you by all means, try that in there.
You're right, I guess. So
I mean, you could put the section in there and call it something else, just to see, like, just call it, footer contact or whatever, and see. Like, presumably there are some styles that are associated just with it being the section, and other styles.
That works.
Right. So I think that's, if we do what I was suggesting before, and we want to hook up whatever is the current contact style to a subscribe style, then ultimately we can get it to look how we want it.
So what are you proposing now?
Well, I would say go back to doing what we would, the approach that I suggested we take. Do you want, is it easier for me to just do it?
I mean, maybe if you really have specific, exact ideas of how this should be done.
Yeah, and then maybe you can drive on doing the middleman block thing.
Well, let me keep driving.
Sure, go ahead. I mean, I guess I'll so like the specific idea that I have is that how we started, right, which was pulling that section out of that chunk out of the footer and sticking it in the index in a section that had ID contact.
I mean, it seems to me, right? Like, we're not going to change the contact to have the black background, obviously, right?
No, obviously not.
So why do we need to pull this out?
I think only to make the, I mean, having done what you've done, yeah, maybe you can change the contact and thing and leave it in the footer if you want.
White space here, so that's
right. But again, that can be restyled. I guess it seemed to me that if it is becoming its own section, it made more sense consistently with the site for it not to be in the footer partial. But it's no big deal. I mean, yeah, I guess the other thing that you could do here now, if you felt, I mean, if you prefer not to pull it out of the old footer, What I guess the question to ask here though is if you call it contact, will the navigation still scroll to it while it's inside the footer?
That's what I want to know. That's actually what I want to know.
Yeah. So, but I guess you would. Yeah, you want to. Yeah, I'll let you do that.
So where's the navigation? I think it will. I think it potentially could. So we're like up here, we hit contacts. That looks good, right?
Well, that's certainly reasonable.
So your idea is that we move this into
just into the index. Well, I mean, all of the other sections are in the index html.erb. I mean, you could now you've created the section. You think the section should go inside the container, or are you just experimenting?
Well, you just wanted the first row, right? I mean, maybe not. Am I wrong? Because this is what I didn't understand about what you were like taking half of the. You were taking this, and then it wasn't clear to me. Like, oh, okay, I see. Section,
right? That was the chunk that I mean, yeah, and yeah, leave it in there as a section, or take that out and put it in the index thing. It maybe doesn't make so much difference.
This would be moved here, right?
Right.
What you're saying?
Yeah. Although I think that you would need you maybe need the container div.
Yeah.
I think you've got unsaved changes in the.
No, I saved them all.
No, the footer.html.erb still has an open circle on the.
Command S.
Yeah, that saves this file, but doesn't save this file.
Oh.
And then I think this. Did you add that container into the? I mean, I think in the.
Go on.
In the index thing, when you have the section, it then needs to have a container after it.
Like, what do you mean, like a container?
Yeah, well, like there's a div with a container. But so, like, if you look at my screen, so in the index, like, when I say container, I mean this: div class equals container. Like this is the pattern that we have throughout the site.
Yeah.
Each of the sections follows that thing. And if I look at the footer, yeah. So the footer also has a container. So
you want another div?
But that needs to be in between the section one and the div class equals row. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not looking good.
No.
That's interesting. Well, why would it do? Yeah. Well, I would say I'm confused why that doesn't work in the way I expect, but since you had it working in the other way, you can fall back to that one. It's probably the path of least resistance.
Okay, so how do I get back to that?
Well, you can just do command Zs in the appropriate files.
And that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something disappeared.
I think footer's not saved.
Save this. Reload it. Okay. So there's an extra white space here.
Right. So I mean I think the thing that we would need to do next, I mean that in order for that, you've could have called it footer contact. I mean, there's a sort of
extra white space here.
Mm-hmm.
Between, yeah, there's like extra white space on the top and the bottom of that section.
Yeah, I'm not particularly worried about that at the moment. Really. Not too much. I mean, I guess it's if the section ID is going to be maintained as footer contact, I guess. Well, I mean, I had been thinking that we were going to, there
must be some styling associated with sections, right?
Right, and particular names of sections. But so
that's screwing us up. I mean, we have the navigation working, so I would be tempted to just.
But you want to leave? Say again.
I said I would want to fix the styling issue.
Right, and that's what I agree. And I think the thing to do is but we've also got the fact that we're calling it footer contact at the moment, right? And we've got another thing. We've got another section called contact, which is actually subscribe. Right. So what we want to go and do is look at the style sheets for sections and rename them. So the place that I would be looking for this is we've got our agency, and if we search within agency for contact, so we've got we can see this is the style for on line 629 of agency. Right. We've got the whole style for contact. You're looking at the agency CSS, which you don't want to edit because it's the compiled file. You want to underscore agency.scss.
That thing there.
Yeah.
Contact.
So it's on line 631.
Right.
So that's the special styling that's like this map image and whatever. So I would be tempted here, 629, we call this the subscribe section. 631, call that subscribe, and then create our own section contact styling with whatever we need to adjust the footer to be the way that we want.
So that's going to obviously break that, but then we go in and we fix that first.
Yeah, so line 266, change the ID to subscribe.
Fix that, yeah, that does. So now I guess the question for me personally is, I want to see what styles
are being applied to that particular what's now is it still called footer content, right?
So there's green, and that means something.
Well, I think that's it's the margin or padding on the. But so, and that's going to be a default amount of padding then on each of the. I think that's sections generally get that much padding, so you could then adjust the amount of padding for the contact section.
Right.
Yeah, I think you'd need to create it. Yeah, there you go. You could also change the file so that it was CSS thing and get your syntax correct.
What?
If you got plain text is the word written at the bottom right of your screen.
Say this again.
So Sublime Editor, bottom right, it says plain text. Yeah. It says CSS. There you go.
Change this to 25. Top, left, right, 25. That didn't really do anything. I need to do something with.
Well, I think it's probably still called footer contact at the moment, so you might need to change the thing in the footer itself so that it has the right ID.
Say this again.
Go to _footer.html.erb and have a look at the. It's called ID footer contact. There you go.
Still kind of screwy.
So now, I mean, there may be like an ordering with which that it's doing, and whether is it properly reloading? But yeah, so if you inspect it, is it like crossing out our attempt at giving it the?
It is.
I think it's also. It's well.
I think it's invalid.
I think because you've used pixels in the last place and not the first place. I think also there's a weird thing in the footer. I guess it was always inside the container in the footer.
So if I say 25 pixels like that, you think that'll? It doesn't like that.
No, I guess the thing I would be looking at is how, presumably there's like the original section part of it.
Oh, they all need pixels apparently, according to.
Well, this one, the global section styles has padding and it has.
Well, it's just. Can you stop, please? Just,
okay.
I mean, there we go. That looks more reasonable, right?
Sure. Have a look at line 253 of the agency.scss there.
253. Right. Okay.
Showing you one that, I mean, I don't know the syntax for that. I was just like
That's, I think, giving it 100 pixels on top and 0 everywhere else.
Okay.
But see, it goes like top, right, bottom, left.
Okay.
So if you want a top and a bottom, you have to specify at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
At which point I think you might have to specify 4. And then apparently if you do that, then you need to put pixel after all of them.
Right, so what have we gone with now?
25 on the top and 25 on the bottom.
Right, but so couldn't you achieve the same effect with it saying 25 pixels 0?
There wouldn't be on the bottom. I guess maybe we don't want that on the bottom, right? Because we want.
What does it look like now with the?
Let's go. Let's see. Oh, that's broken too.
Yeah.
Go in and change that. Where is the nav? Change that to contacts. I mean, I guess that looks okay.
Yeah, that looks the same as before.
Yeah, looks reasonable. And then did we want a subscribe in there?
Well, I guess it makes sense in as much as what's the word? At the moment, there's no way to navigate to it. Obviously, people can scroll down over it.
There we go. It's totally. Well, let's try to reload this. Contacts. There we go. What about subscribe? And that looks okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've definitely got the. That was the key. I mean, the key complaint from Free Ranger was, he was clicking on contact and it was taking him to a subscribe page, and he was kind of like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess when the word contact is so consistently used to be contact details on the site, that's kind of more. I mean, I guess there's a danger there that the like. I mean, you know, is it not high enough? You know, you kind of end up being taken to the, like, it can't scroll you to it because there's not extra white space at the bottom, so to speak. But, you know, that's probably.
I don't understand what you're saying, but okay.
Okay.
There's not extra white space at the bottom. Like,
yeah,
if
like when you click contact, right, you can still see the top third of the screen is black and it says keep me posted.
Okay.
Right. So if you click subscribe, right,
so we could add more padding if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is.
It kind of depends on their screen size.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I was sort of observing it and saying, you know, I think it's definitely an improvement over where we were before.
I mean, on my screen, it looks okay, but that really doesn't mean anything.
No. So I think we shouldn't worry too much about it. I think we've fixed the key issue, which was the inconsistency between contact taking you to the, you know, subscribe front and center, which it makes sense that was inconsistent and would be confusing. I mean, Free Ranger was confused.
Did this stretch out now?
With the increase in the padding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess by a bit, but not. It didn't seem to look like as much as what you'd been adding, but.
No, it hasn't. All right. Just looks, I guess with the white space on top, it looks larger now. Or? Yeah, that looks a lot close. I guess. Huh. Guess it's the effect of how we. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is very different. I'm on here.
Which bit is very different?
Like the space at the bottom.
So this is your yeah. There's more space at the bottom, right, compared to what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would expect when we add the padding there.
Why?
Well, if we add padding to that section in the footer, then it's going to make for a more that green area there that you've got highlighted. That's the padding that you just change that from 25 to 75. So.
Yeah. So that implies that I don't want that to.
Well, it depends. I mean, to be honest, I don't feel like we have to have it look exactly like how the site currently looks. Like, that's how it currently looks, and it's got, you know, almost no padding, very minimal padding on it, because it's not in a section; it's just in a container, and then.
Right.
You know, but we've kind of promoted it from being just a footer with no navigation to it. We promoted it from the footer to be a sort of a section. And I guess there's like, for our navigation is based around scrolling within the page to get to things.
Right. I mean, I think it just looks weird.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, reduce it. Do what you feel is right.
But maybe. Wrong. I would have thought that would have. So that's like kind of reducing it.
Right, reduces it at the bottom and leaves more at the top. Yeah, cool.
I mean, what do you think?
I think either is fine. I think like I say, for me, the key thing was that we added that contact us and subscribe, and we can play with the changing levels of spacing later on. I'd love to get that change that we've made deployed, and work on integrating the blog.
right, I'm going to deploy it now.
Cool.
See. What's going on? Okay. So we have a subscribe section. We have a contact section.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess on here still, I mean, it's still, depending on your screen size, as you say.
Yeah.
You would still see that.
It's I think probably where we are there is if we don't feel strongly about a particular direction, let's leave it like that, and we can do another round of we'll have people telling us if it's a big deal.
Right. Do you want to drive on?
Sure. Should we? Yeah, I've got a kind of a scratch branch with that on. Yeah, I've just in the background I had to do a bit of a messy merge. Anyway, I've got a pull request in for that refactoring. There, that's yeah. So I should pull out now. Let's have a look. The ghost on Heroku there. Dun, 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 dun. AV website git pull origin master.
So you're going to be away tomorrow, right?
I am. Yes. I mean, I'll maybe be online briefly in the very early morning. Sorry, go on.
I said that works out anyway because my brother, who's
your brother's gone.
The illness or whatever.
Yeah.
They're getting new furniture.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted me to help him.
Yeah.
In the morning, move the old furniture out because he's.
Mm-hmm.
Like his wife and kids are going to be at work and school stuff, and
right.
He's got a lot of like weakness and stuff now.
Sure.
From the
absolutely
disease or whatever. So
yeah.
He was asking me to come over.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's that works out well. So I was just going to show you. So that was the blog. I thought. So this was the version where I had set up for the blog to work, and I was wondering if I could just merge it into what we have now. Yeah, we now have. Yeah. Basically, this was the thing I did previously, and this now basically has this. Yeah. So there's like an article in there.
Right.
So what I could do there in this blog thing is I could keep that running, is merge in all of our latest changes.
Oh, is that to put the middleman in?
Yeah, I've got the middleman blog in there.
So you would click and it would take you to a section.
Well, so the way that the middleman blog works is that basically it has an endpoint. So we have this blog.html.erb is kind of in here as an endpoint, like, you know, the terms and conditions and so on could be. I mean, an interesting question there about whether the blog should even be, like, it would almost make more sense from a point of like this, that, and the other, to remove the blog from there. Then all of these things become consistent elements within here, and we just have the, you know, there's more on the blog. You get to the blog from the what we do thing.
In the footer, yeah.
Right. That's probably
better idea.
Yeah. So
unless you want to highlight the blog, but yeah.
You know, I'm not. I think it's. I can see that we would have to do, you know, work like we did to try and, you know, make it highlight in certain situations and this, that, and the other.
I mean, regardless of the work or whatever, but putting it like in the menu gives it more status.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Putting it just in a footnote in the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it makes it higher, more prominent.
Yeah, it probably increases the chance that people will click through on that and will find it and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, for me at the moment though, I'm ambivalent about, you know, like that. That's
There's also a subtle question about the terminology around the blog.
Sure.
Like what you call it, like some depending on industry and stuff, they call it like a news. They might call it
sure.
like. That makes
Well,
sense.
Indeed, it may be sensible in the long run to call it something else.
There's like different terms that different websites use for depending on, but they're all basically blogging software.
Yeah, sure.
They're all in that kind of like format. It depends on.
Yeah. Right.
Although I guess the way you're using it is kind of like a blog.
I mean, there's a
like certain companies will just call it news, but it'll just be like
press releases or whatever.
It'll be like more newsworthy thing.
Yeah.
It won't be like, oh, today. Like basically what you're saying is like, oh, like the way you're using a blog is like, oh, today in the office this happened.
Right.
And it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like certain companies, I guess that's more of a tech thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas certain companies will, you know, anything they put out there is very polished and very very like, oh, is this
reflecting our corporate image effectively?
That we want to put out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they'll often call it like news or something.
Yeah. So I mean, this is. So we've got. And then that would go to there. So if I then, so like in order to get, I've got the blog editor over here, and if I take, I'll go and look at the content, and I go and look at, so the first one was this collaborating in software teams. So blog.
How do they find like the list of stuff?
Well, this actually is the list of stuff here.
Really?
Yeah, and then this is an article here. So, in principle, I mean, we'll see if this all works. Like publishing an article, I would then I replace this example article with let's put this agile teams, I don't know, and then I would need to match the date. Does this thing over here not tell me when it was published? Content collaborating in software teams is published 2 months ago. Doesn't tell me when. Go back to the blog here. It told me 23rd of June 2016. 2016, June 23rd, and the title. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Oh, on 2 pages of blogs there. No, 17th of May. And so this is collaborating in software teams. Like that. So then this, that's strange. Does it have to,
Here's an internet profit marketing website. The branding of what you're probably what you're doing is clearly under a blog, according to them.
Yeah.
Blogs are shorter, 200 to 500 words, though, I guess.
Yeah, I'm.
Blogs are more casual and provide a great way to personally connect with readers.
Mm-hmm.
Blogs often provide a personal and inside point of view.
Mm-hmm.
They're expected to be updated more frequently than articles. Articles vary greatly in the length.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Articles are meant to inform and are more formal in their construction. detailed, informative, and fact-based.
Right.
So like articles would be like, Agile Ventures is offering a new premium service, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
Right.
That wouldn't be a fact-based, but it would be fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying, "Oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would, of course, be fact.
Mm-hmm. Naturally. So there's, I mean, yeah, that's all good to be aware of. The interestingly, just changing the contents of the example article here seems to have totally broken the blog.
Really?
Which is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination.
What happened to the blog?
Well, I don't know. It just says file not found. I guess there is maybe some consistency required. I'm just updating the blog here so the title and date match. That I would be surprised. Like, so basically here it's saying file not found, and okay, yeah, the date in it doesn't match the date in its front matter. Basically, it seems that there has to be
consistency
there. So that now there is consistency. Well, has it actually caused the entire thing to crash? No, it's still there. So now,
interesting.
But it looks like it's got stuck. I mean, probably the live reload is. Okay, there we go.
That looks hard.
It does look. Now, I think. So we basically had put together some styles in the Ghost blog there that we would need to pull into here as well. I guess that can I quickly? I've got on the other screen. We've got those styles there.
Will these just like appear one after another? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I guess. Well, when you say one after the other, you mean will there just be a list of them?
Yeah, I'm just wondering about. Like, how does someone see articles other than the latest one or whatever?
Well, I think, like, this is the actual. So at the moment, this is the page for the individual blog, right? And this is kind of the list. And at the moment, it's like the list is actually displaying the entire thing, which we don't want.
No, we don't.
And so if we look at the blog here, okay. So hopefully we do have Nokokiri available, and it's saying we've got an alternative, which is article summary. I mean,
I have to pull Nokokiri in.
Say again?
You don't have to pull it in. Okay.
So now this would be, I mean, I guess probably what I should do is put one more article in, and then we can see the, like how the list view works. So now here we've got, let's get the other.
Wonder if there's like pagination or something too.
I sort of assume that it does have pagination.
Oh, it says paginate.
Right. So I've got this is 21st of, to the next post is 21st of June 2016. So in order to have the blog there, new file, 2016. Let's get rid of that. So we want to match the post dates of this as 06/21.
So basically, Charles is happy with writing a manuscript and emailing it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to encourage him to use the, you know, the blogging software, and he was just like, yeah. I mean, I had sort of assumed that he'd want to kind of get into that, but he sort of didn't, and he was like, no, I'll send you a Word doc. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, then in that case.
Right. Well, if he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Do it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that, you know, he might be interested to experiment with in the future, but he doesn't seem to be in any rush. And this one, I guess the thing is that.
So I guess the question is there any advantage to the Ghost blog?
I mean, it's the Ghost blog. You know, is there an advantage for us? Is that it means that I think it's slightly more features out of the box than our current one. You know, I mean, I have to say I quite like. I mean, I just love the fact that it's Markdown. It has you know, a preview mode built into it, which is quite, you know, I mean, basically having blogged, you know, like 10 or so posts in it, I can see some advantages to it. But I think that the drag that we have is the split navigation over our two sites, and the startup time on Heroku don't kind of make it worth it.
Throw that $7 a month at it.
Well, you know, like all these dollars, you know, gradually becoming more expensive, more and more expensive for me. That's rename, and I guess the
you just got a whole.
Go on.
You just got a whole $13 more a month from me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have a party now.
That's like a whole meal.
Yeah. Yeah, my you know, my kids weren't planning on eating this month, but now it's
that's a meal. Well, you could probably cook a good meal for a family at home on that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Although if you go out, it's like one meal for one person.
Yeah, yeah. But the interesting thing here is that these crashes are, when there are when it mismatches the sources. There we go. So this is what it now looks like in list view.
Yeah.
And this is what we get in the. So now we've got in the blog thing itself.
I guess the thing we should be promoting is if we get 30 people signed up for premium, Sam and his family can eat this month.
That's right. Yeah. I think that'll go down well.
Sam and his family can have dinner this month.
Yeah. It's like, you want them to eat, don't you? And we could do a whole marketing thing with photos of my family looking hungry. So now, okay, that's interesting. So the blog allows us to have, so that's interesting. Right, okay, so the blog's in ERB, but these things are in Markdown. So if we've got an issue there that if we have middleman, blog, Markdown, like if we want a footer in there, is it a different?
I was just reflecting on, you know.
Tom?
I guess I was reflecting on if over $7 a month, 12 months, that's $84.
Well, and assuming the $7 would keep it live. Yeah, I mean, and even if we did that, we'd still have the lag of maintaining the two different sites.
Yeah.
I mean, that
fixes it. Works out. So. I guess the question, yeah, in my mind, I was asking, is the $84 for the year worth our time to sit here and?
Yeah, to see if this works. Well, I mean, it depends. To a certain extent, it depends how long it takes. I
guess it depends on what else we would do. from an economic perspective, like the opportunity cost.
Yes.
Could we do something that would drive more people to buy your premium subscription?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If we were that's something that would obviously get like 100 people to sign up for premium,
then that would clearly be...
That would make more sense than to sit here and do this.
Yes, absolutely. Well, maybe you could be brainstorming in the background.
I'm going to go get a drink.
Yeah, do that. I will do that soon as well. I'm also learning about Middleman Blog. We can use you can specify a specific layout for your blog. Okay, can we just specify the general layout there? In your config.rb. Blog layout. Right. And do we have a layout? So no. Oh no, that's okay. We've called it blog. Quite makes sense, does it?
Although you've had I think you've had Free Ranger say he might be interested in giving you $5 a month.
He was the or he may want to give a one-off. I mean, the thing that we could be doing that would generate revenue is we could be saying we should create
donation or something,
a general donation page, or the ability to, a bit like edX had, to specify the amount that you want to donate, like that people would, those are things that people have said to me in the past that they're interested in doing. Yeah, and I mean, we could, actually with the,
just keep going on. I mean, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Don't need to eat this month, so
no, they're tough. There are cats and things in the neighborhood. I mean, the interesting thing I'm just thinking about here is like, what's the mechanism to allow the blogs? Like, it's got individual articles here. What's the mechanism to provide the actual individual articles with a layout? Now, it says here, you can set a specific layout to be used for all articles in your config.rb. So we've got this layout, which was like, I think, auto-generated, which we're not using. I've got this blog html.erb, which is kind of like the blogging endpoint that we're going to.
Right.
These are the individual articles in Markdown that don't seem to be able to specify their own, or at least I don't know how we can specify like partials in Markdown. But so we've got our config.rb, we've got like a blog layout thing. I guess if I take this layout and I rename it to blog, I feel like I kind of used. That's interesting, actually. That layout. Okay, that's got a broader layout with a feed tag in it. that's doing all of that. This has got like a way of showing different things. I think I maybe will leave that in, and let's create new file. If we call this blog layout dot html dot erb partials. So, and then what I want is something. Have we got like a yield operation? So we've got config RB as blog layout. We've got blog layout HTML.erb. So, okay. Right. So that's got those things pulled in, but we haven't got the styles. And presumably that now our index thing, where's our... Like, what corresponds to our layouts here? So we've got this layout ERB. Yeah. Okay. It's not as dry. See, what we want the blog layout to use that layout.erb. It talked about if you want to wrap each other administrator before inserting into the layout, you can use Middleman's nested layouts feature to create an article layout that is then wrapped within your main layout. So a way to call like another layout above. I mean, to the extent that this becomes too complex, then it's I've got this on a branch and we can just can it and stick with the existing blog. The issue is that the thing that you just worked on, which is to like create the sections and this, that, and the other,
right?
In order that's now inconsistent with how the blog looks. So we would need to go and update that thing, although that probably shouldn't take so long. Nested layouts.
Now we'd have to change the layout in the blog again.
Yeah. So I mean, like if in some ways the question is it faster to do this based against the number of times we have to change that layout in the blog? But so I guess we're also learning about these things here. So in principle,
telling Marion that I signed up for premium.
Cool. Yeah, I think we call that upselling.
Maybe she'll decide to help feed you.
Cool. I like eating. But so I wonder, can we ask this to...
So I sent her a icon of a sushi roll, and I said, Sam likes eating.
Okay. And so I do like sushi, although sashimi I think is better. I don't need the vinegared rice, to be honest.
They don't have sashimi icons. They just have sushi icons.
I know. They're weird. Okay. So I've kind of... Right, so we've gone to the individual blog thing. Right. So there's still a number of issues to be addressed. So we've got the blog itself. We've got this. I mean, it's just adjusting the width would probably be the key thing there. The width of that, we've basically got all of this appearing in one section, so it's just not using the columns at the moment. So I guess we kind of want that in a container and a row, like so. Close down the divs like that. So, and one more maybe. And then we need some kind of, I always wonder about, is this the text center? Is that why Azure Ventures? I'll just throw a row in there in its column. What does that do to it? Right, so that now makes it there. I guess the title span, I mean, basically, I think that the date would look much better on the next line, maybe, and not be so completely. Yeah, I mean, that's all right. And if we do text center, can we just make that
center?
Say again?
Probably, you don't want like the article text centered, right? It's kind of, well, maybe you do.
Yeah, I don't know about the text center. I mean, in some ways, what I just want is to give it some margins on the side. Like, I think there's supposed to be a better way that, like, I'm just thinking about, this is the Bootstrap layout, is that that
we have pulled on.
What I want to do is just make it so that I guess the other thing is that this style will, I would have thought that doing this, I mean, is it even making any impact on it? I mean, I guess it may also be that my reload is working, and then here, yeah, it's got 4. So the 4 doesn't add up probably. 4, 4, and 4. See, I would have thought that would create a situation where the center text would only be taking up the middle 2/3 of the screen, but it's not.
Right.
And I guess that, I mean, yeah, I'm starting, like, the kind of, we added our own styles to the Ghost blog, but I feel like the base, the default things in there are kind of cleaner. I don't know why this is coming up bold. The first one's got this, this is not bold, and this is bold.
I wonder why that is.
So what we got here, this is in, it's in strong for some reason, whereas this one is not.
Okay, I wonder why that is.
And that's kind of bizarre, because this is like supposed to be like a looping thing here, where we've got the article summary. I mean, that, I guess there are 2 different articles. I mean, this attempt for me to like make it smaller with column, like the thing that we have in the main rest of the site, was these navigation doesn't work in that context. Like, I don't know if them, I guess they're all sort of taking up about that amount of space, so I shouldn't fight that too much. The navigation doesn't work because of the thing we have to do. URL prefix is like we have to do this, like slash. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. That works. Yeah. Okay, so those will now redirect correctly. Yes. Okay, so we've got two of those things. No idea why that's collaborating in software teams. Is there something about... I think it's because
you put the stars around
the stars on that are out there, like the article itself is...
if you click through to it, go
yeah,
on.
I was thinking that probably the better thing, if we put that kind of styling on it... no, that... Okay, so that means that the styling kind of leaks through
to the...
Yeah. Which is not ideal. I mean, maybe that's the way that it ended up looking on the... So, yeah, in the existing blog, that style has been squashed nicely by Ghost.
I kind of want it just to be, like a uniform style on the index page.
Yeah, like this. Anyway, so I mean, that doesn't look too awful. And we've got down here, and these link to the right sorts of things.
Maybe there's a
middleman blog styling plugin.
Something, maybe. Middleman blog, styling.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can. That basically works, and presumably there'll be pagination. I mean, I guess the thing that we've got in the... Should I be adding padding to it?
Is it a gem that you installed, or is it just come with the middleman?
I think it's a gem. Let's have a look. Oh. Yeah, middleman blog. Just looking at... Now, what is it? So they've gone column large 12, post excerpt. And I think we've just got in the Ghost blog, we've just got some widths associated with the styles. Like, so for this, if we look at the inspect, what have we got here? This is like, yeah, that column thing has done nothing. Is there like a normal mechanism to restrict width with, what's the name of the bootstrap? How to create a fixed column custom bootstrap.
I mean, what you really want it to do is basically know that those double stars that you had.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a relatively minor... I mean,
you could open an issue on the blogs.
Yeah.
If they...
Yeah. I think but if we can open an issue, feel free to do that. I'm sort of distracted by... I mean, this is more like a me understanding Bootstrap sort of thing. Like, I would have thought that it should be... Like, I'm surprised that I can't reduce the width of the screen that those blog elements take up by putting these things in, like, supposedly to live inside, you know, a smaller kind of column setup. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay. Oh, okay. That was the reason. It's because of my font size. Okay, it was working, but I guess it's like our definition of what large is. Okay. So, okay, all right. So now that makes sense. So then, yeah, that's what I was looking for, and so there's no, and that you know, then that looks, you know, we've got not insanely dissimilar to. That's what our existing thing looks like. Now, the issue that we've got here for the blog is, one, that looks like the markdown is actually not even being processed.
What?
Okay, so that would be a bigger stumbler. It looks like the markdown is being processed, and it gives us the ability to link things, but it doesn't do image embeds.
Really?
Well, by the look of it, unless I've got some sort of like that's valid markdown as far as I know.
Middleman blog.
Although I've got some other tags around that that are okay. Oh no, okay, no, it does work. I had some I had some specific HTML that was using in the Ghost blog to sort something out. It's actually not needed in this one. So that makes sense. And then to the blog layout, I can do a similar thing to restrict the width of the story. Just look at the, and I think that the text, and basically I need to fix it. So then that could be about it. But so if I grab that row operation, it needs to be in a section or not. And that goes in the blog layout here. And then I want the close of that. Come on. There. Okay. And then we're obviously missing something that deals with the height of the there, and those links will now work properly. So,
I mean, it just looks funky to me with the text being.
Oh well, totally, yeah. No, we need to text. We need to.
But I guess sure, yeah.
Rather than center it, it needs to be left justified. Or what's the? I mean, we've got what? I mean, I guess the question there is, what's the bootstrap command for? We've got bootstrap text options.
Line.
I mean, there's the CSS ones, and do we just use, because there was the text, there you go.
Right.
I think
text left. People are saying text dash left.
Yeah, that's what I just found in the bootstrap docs. So yeah, and that's already
index too.
Right, that's reloaded it and there.
It might make sense in the index too. Go on.
Yeah. So that, right, and so that's why I had added the centering operation for the image for text left. I guess that I would like that image to be centered then. No, whatever. Okay. And so then we have go on.
That here or
we do the centering there? Sorry?
I guess you can't do the centering in Middleman.
Well, that's at least the mechanism that I used to.
We would have to.
We need to use a different technique.
We'd probably have to style it. Yeah. We'd have to look at what the image looks like.
Yeah.
And figure out how to style it. And stuff.
The right number of, what have we got? Section div. There. Is that what one was that? Is that supposed to be closing the row? We've got the yield. Okay, so this is the column around there. Okay, yeah, and you should be in one. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay. So it yields us, but it only gives us the blog body unless it's sort of hidden. Let's have a look. We've got div row. First thing, nobody likes passwords. Yeah, so the blog by default is not displaying the title. Okay.
Title of the post?
The title of the post, no.
probably a way to do that.
Yeah.
Middleman, blog, title, post.
Listing articles, helpers, tags. I don't care about tags, article summaries, pagination, draft articles. Oh, okay, draft article, nice, article subdirectory.
I mean, do you have an article, like an article variable available to you?
Right, I guess we could be displaying the article variable, like if the yield operation in the blog is displaying the blog. So if the blog layout yield, if that displays only the contents of the body, I mean, I don't know that I have a. It's weird because I thought we previously had the titles there. I might have been mistaken. Like in the blog itself, we are looping through page articles, and that gives us an article reference. And then we have, you know, the ability to display the title. The information about the acceptable markdown in the articles.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at that too.
Yeah. Individual files. When you want to bring your place it in the correct path and include some basic front matter, you can set the blog sources option while activating blog in your config library to change where and in what format Middleman should look for articles. Let's say I want to create a new post about Middleman. I will create the minimum entry for this. If you want, you can specify a full date and time. Oh, in the right place. Okay, okay. If you want to use your own templates, okay. Front matter, that's just okay. I was just going to look at that. So we've got, I mean, and then we've got all of the extension, markdown, enable pagination. Looks like the pagination would have to be turned on. But so what would be nice to know is the Middleman blog settings. I guess there's like, I don't have a wiki, and I guess they're saying the documentation there. So see the blog extension guide, right? So that is their documentation. I guess I should go back to the look at the issues there. Maybe some people are asking in the issues. Let's see. Title. Blog posts without a title. Oh, without titles and still have them show up. Oh no. Ugh.
Middleman, how can I get the current article title? There's a current underscore article.
Oh, is there?
Thing that should be set up for you.
Oh, okay. Well, then, and that would.
What someone says on Stack Overflow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So.
Made available in the view.
Right. So in that would then allow us. We could just do something like this. Current article. There we go. Yeah, that did it.
Cool.
Oh, cool. something that's not mentioned in the docs. And I guess for consistency, we would follow that up with that's the blog there. We can have the
the date and the time.
And stuff. I mean, I like, so it's more Spartan, but we have, to the extent that we want to make changes to the thing, it then becomes more straightforward. We have a less involved process.
Yeah, we don't have to deploy twice and everything.
Right. So, I mean, that kind of looks silly, but
that should be centered.
Yeah. So I guess we've got this. I mean, now this one we can. I mean, we've got this operation is
just put a class on it.
I guess I'm always wonder if we can we override it with the style. It's like
you can always override inline. Yeah. Inline wins all the time.
Right.
Although it's considered bad.
Yeah, it's considered bad taste. Absolutely.
But
what is it? Can we just get percentage Y in there?
Because your markup should be independent of your. Well, you're doing a lot of bad things anyway.
I'm a bad boy.
Like you're putting, extra divs in to control the spacing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know what the better solution is for, like, if I want to restrict the width there. I guess I should be putting a, but like, should I be saying this should take up the whole thing, and I should say that it should have.
I really don't know.
No, me neither. Yeah. So I guess
is there like a Bootstrap user group on like news groups or something?
I'm sure.
I guess something that you might ask like on a.
Yeah, I noticed that the markdown is at least that okay. So there's a.
Bootstrap IRC. Maybe there is there an IRC? Bootstrap.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go in there and ask questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes people in there are helpful in like a project IRC.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, do we also have an author? I guess there's a kind of. I guess it follows from that we kind of can have a. I wonder if we're just like any of the front matter can have. We can just refer to that. There no undefined author for middleman. So that's interesting. Middleman, author, blog, author. Adding authors to middleman blog. Authors YAML.
Marian said £10, and I said £10 a month is $13 at a current exchange.
Ah. That seems kind of mean here that it shouldn't, like, if the front matter is just YAML, and then I can refer to the title, that I can't just add some other key value pair, and then.
And John told Marian that Brian signed up.
Oh, okay.
Did John sign up?
John did, yeah.
Marian said, John told me that Brian signed up, and I told him John himself signed up too. So I'm trying to like Tell her that everyone's signing up, and
well, yeah, don't put too much pressure on her. You know, who knows what her financial situation is. Yeah, I would. That's kind of. I was gonna. It's kind of frustrating to hear that. See, this is the kind of thing that Ruby's supposed to just allow me, like article author. I guess they have like a.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, the $13 a month is like, I don't know.
Well, people have different
Right, I
feelings
know.
about money.
But it's kind of like.
It will bite me at the moment anyway.
A little easy to find that, I guess. I don't know. Like cutting out stuff. It does depend on your situation, though.
See, okay, current page data title. Oh, I wonder if it could just be. Let's just see if that works. Ah, yes, it does. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I'm learning some interesting things about middleman. I guess the one last thing I would wonder is I guess the image styling is, so we've got middleman blog image styling. Censoring styling with
like for me, I guess finding the $13 a month wasn't that hard. Because I have some things that I spend on that are kind of frivolous anyway.
Well, I mean, you should blog about that. That would be a great blog. Because I was sort of assuming that you, because you're a student, that would be like I'm assuming the people who've actually got jobs that allow them to buy lots of coffee and stuff are the kind of people I would imagine. Yeah, that's like not a big deal. But if you're a student, I remember being a student, and I don't assume that students have necessarily got any cash to spare at all.
Right.
So yeah, so I guess we should just get so this. If we want to then have blog specific styles, I guess so. I take that away. This should be like class equals date, right? And then, so for our overall style, if this is going to be our blog section, to follow the thing, we would do what we've just been. Why has that gone back to plain text again? We should follow what we've just been doing in the other sections. So we've got set global section styles.
Well, Raoul works with Thomas.
Does, yes.
Yeah.
Timeline. Portfolio section, services section. I mean, if we just put in here.
And I have other income and jobs and stuff. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's expensive to be a student in the US. Well, it is in the UK now as well.
Yeah, but scholarships help and stuff.
Oh, yeah? Global section styles. This is a portfolio. But so here it's interesting to me that it's got like service section. They're not. Oh, I guess what it's doing, it's not tying it specifically to the fact that it's a section. It's tying it to the fact that it's an ID. So the fact that it's a section, the section styling is one thing, and then it's got like, okay, anything that's of class, this is going to be of ID blog is going to have these things. And then so if I have under here that the class of date then gets this style, which is this one, that should do the same thing. And we could also just say that in general, image tags should be centered. So that would be, can we apply a style to the images, just make them centered? Image, and I guess actually
for me, it didn't really, because I already like have work and stuff.
Okay.
To some like degree, like
Hmm.
so, and I already have, like, I was already spending on Audible.
Right.
And like honestly, actually, the Audible books are like piling up.
More than you can read.
And it's like, yeah, more than I can listen to.
Sure. Absolutely. Oh yeah. But so are you doing some other interesting jobs that involve coding, or?
No.
Oh, they're just other kind of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So I've cleaned up the styling there that pulls the dates out into that element there, and
I mean, I was last summer, but
yeah. Oh, cool. So that's what I guess that, and I think I'm going to stop and get some tea. I'm just stuck on here is that I don't think we can style the image from like within it to be centered within the page. It like has to be the surrounding box, I think.
right.
So like if we look at this here and we inspect it,
you could also do work on what's that site?
Odesk, Elancer.
Yeah, something like that to supplement your income if you want to.
Yeah, there's like several of those, and I heard
a lot of them are populated by low-cost countries.
Sure. Yes, I mean I'd certainly consider that, and some people mentioned to me there's some new ones that I hadn't heard of that are apparently quite good, and that would definitely be a way to go. To maintain, I mean, I think like as an alternative to me getting another high-paying job in London that I'd have to travel in every day and be very stressed on the train. I mean, what I quite like, I really like this lifestyle of,
Yeah, I mean, you could take like jobs that aren't going to like, a lot of those jobs like could be done in 20 hours or whatever. I mean, rather than making like, if you didn't want to make like a full-time commitment to a certain.
Oh yeah.
Just saying you could do that, like.
Yeah. Oh yes. I think that's definitely
the next 3 days I'm gonna.
Well, and I thought that
money, and
right.
my life will be happier or whatever.
Well, and it's the kind of thing that we could also conceivably be pairing on if you wanted to earn some money as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that as a kind of. Well, the interesting thing was I met. There's a guy who's doing some stuff for Mentiv with Armando. I've forgotten his name. He's in Slack. But so he started off like that and, basically went through the course. And he's now doing like some quite interesting work for MIT Media Lab, and basically is kind of, he has his own company, sort of full time and, having quite a lot of fun by all accounts.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a way to go. I mean, I think yeah, we'll see. So I think
Marianne's considering it. I think.
Okay.
She said she'd have to give up 3 caramel macchiatos a month.
Well, yeah. I don't want to come between anybody and their macchiatos. Okay. Actually, I think I've now got this looking not intensely unreasonable. Like and I'm kind of, it's making me feel, I'm continuing to read that CSS secrets book actually now that I've finished the other CSS book.
Right.
And I feel like I'm understanding the CSS, but although the CSS secrets book is like really specific, it's like, you want to create a sort of a interesting gradient pattern. Here's this really, look, you can use this conical gradient stuff and like, If I want both date and something else, if I have date there and like author.
I think I'm going to give up frozen yogurt too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Can I just do? Is there a thing? Can I just do like? Well, I'll try that author thing first. So this, and we can give that a class equals author.
Free caramel macchiatos a month, or I told her like 2 froyos.
I've got to. I mean, I tell you, my thing I'm doing. I'm now running. I ran 5K this morning. I'm trying to do that. I've been doing like 2.5K, and I've been gradually increasing it. I'm trying to run 5K every morning, and I'm trying to eat less because I'm just want to be thinner around the waist. Oops, that's the wrong button. Okay, yeah, so that seems to be working, and then I just wonder if we can clean up the CSS with, like, if these are both text align, isn't there like you just do this? Is it you have to do like a comma or something? Oh yeah, and then it has the same. I've lost it now. Comma. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of the block. I mean, there's other things. There's like, back to things. It's So
basically,
go on.
I'm giving you the equivalent of an Audible book and a froyo.
And I really appreciate that.
That's basically what I had to sacrifice.
Well, I think every little counts.
Which is really a sacrifice.
Indeed. Well, and every sacrifice is appreciated. And I think I feel like I want class equals title on that there in this blog section. Okay. Well, I think I'm not going to push this straight onto master, but I think
so basically this weekend I'm not going to have a froyo.
Okay, I'm going to have to work hard to make sure that you feel that that's worth. You can continue to feel that's worth it month by month. But this is the thing. The thing now is that I will not rest on our laurels and assume that just because people have signed up, that it means that they are, people are going to be evaluating. I think.
Yeah.
Month by month, if this is a continued worthy cause. So I've got to work hard to make sure that it's being worthy. So we put title in there, and can we slap in? Yeah, look, see here I am doing CSS. Okay. Right, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Well, and so we can, and it navigates around too. So now we have this main thing, and we have this works, and we have our subscribe, and we have our contacts, and they're separate, and we have more on our blog, and the blog is there, and it's on the same site, and yes, I think a lot of the blog links, so there's other things to consider there. So let's just do.
Marian's. I told her I'm not going to have a froyo this weekend. She said it, but it's so hot. Yeah, I'll just drink water and be healthier.
Wow. Yeah. Health is good. I'm feeling like, I don't know if it's the incoming premium memberships or the 5K in the morning, but I'm definitely feeling like kind of amped. So like this is integrates middleman blog into existing styles.
So we whipped it into shape.
Yeah. Do you want to? I'm just going to leave it. Do you want to pull out the blog thing and have a look at it on your side and see what you think? That's pushing it up. I'm just going to go and get a tea, and then maybe we can switch something different. You can drive. Back in a minute.
Now find middleman blog. Humble. Huh. Blog. I think it's just getting that from this section, right? Do 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 do. Rejoice.
Hey.
Check your email.
I get phone notifications, so yes, Marion signed up.
So
yeah,
good time for you.
Yeah, I mean that's we'll be able to eat like all sorts of things this next couple of days. Well, I guess obviously there's a 7-day free trial to wait for. I won't tell the kids yet; they'll get too excited.
But once Charles brings in a big contract, they'll be able to eat the whole month.
Well, see that was the interesting thing. I mean, that's the. I mean, it's all on the. Well, I had a conversation last night, so with the Harrow people. So there's potentially a big contract for us there, but it probably wouldn't start till January.
Maybe.
But that's like a very specific thing. Like basically, the group in Harrow has received like £350,000 worth of lottery funding.
Oh.
And they are going to be having a digital, digital strategy. And one of the key people is very, very keen on our site.
Really?
So it's not really. So and that's actually Steve who gave the £2,000 that we had before, like 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
So like in my mind, I mean, oh, go on.
Liked what was done back then.
Yeah, and he likes the ongoing. He just feels that it's the that our like the money that came from the lottery is for volunteering. It's for like a coherent approach to volunteering in Harrow, and here he really likes that we've got all of the individual non-profit organizations in the local support thing, and that we're integrated with Do It and all this, that, and the other. All of that said, that doesn't guarantee that that's going to come through.
No.
But it's in my mind, if I have to put chances on that, I'd say that seems more likely than necessarily whether Charles would bring in anything at all. I mean, it's absolutely true that if we had even one serious paying project, that would radically change many things. I think people would want to sign up for premium more. It's as I say, a lot more money than any collection of 10 or 50 premium signups. But it's got to be balanced against the likelihood associated with it. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking as Charles, and also the conversation became closer to, he was like, he wants to be head of sales and marketing, he wants a business card and this and the other, is I'm thinking that actually part of the next step is, okay, well, let's have, references. We don't really know him apart from that he wanted to get involved with us. And so anyway, I mean, actually the changes that we've now made, I mean, I guess, is the blog working locally on yours and looks okay?
Yeah, I'm just wondering about, let me show you. It looks good, except I would probably nerf this padding on the bottom.
Oh, yeah?
See here? There's a lot of padding on the bottom of the individual blog post.
Yeah, I mean, I've wrapped it in a section thing. But so, yeah, the section, I think the ID specific, we could do the same thing that you just did for the footer.
So we would basically go in
the blog section, yeah. Just search for blog in that file.
Section.
I think rather than doing that, there's an existing just blog ID thing, which will be specific enough. I assume actually, search for blog in there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so you could just slap that in there.
Container blog. Yeah. container blog, right? And there's a little padding from the footer, but that looks
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
all right, I guess. I think that looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to not have a title.
Have I failed to check something? So collaborating in software teams. Let me see. I have on my side. Maybe I failed to check something in.
You check your staging.
No, the status is clean. We want to restart your. There may be some changes in the config. Do you want to restart? Yeah. I think that the config.rb isn't as reliably recalled in. Maybe.
No,
That's weird.
that's weird. More on our blog, collaborating with software teams. So,
Oh, well, have a look in the blog layout.html.erb. It's just on the root next to calendar and blog. Yeah, so we've got the H2 link to current article. I tell you what it might be is you may have removed padding from the top as well as from the bottom, and so now the title is hidden under the nav thing.
so probably that's what it is. Let's go back in here. Blog. And I did. So we put up 100 pixels.
There you go. It comes back.
Yeah, so that looks better, right?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, what was it before? Like 125?
I get 150 maybe. Did you see that in the line on line 292 above? It's got 150. Yeah.
Although it depends on the screen width or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess we should actually be.
Let's look at it on mobile, shouldn't we?
Expecting mobile. I mean, I guess that looks okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't look obviously wrong, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at, you got it on pad, I got it on iPhone. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the
that does look a little funky on iPhone. So go on.
I was gonna say, I mean, I was on iPhone 6, so I guess you're on a slimmer iPhone or something. Yeah, I mean, I think we could go through tweaking, you know, how it looks on all the different platforms, and you know, improving the spaces and so on. I mean, we've got the same. I mean, I think there are more serious issues on how the main Agile Ventures website looks on mobile, actually. But we should do a review. But yeah, to come back, I mean, sort of with the changes that we've made now, actually, like if we merge this blog in.
Just hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Blog. That looks the same. And we go and inspect now. That totally broke it.
Right, it looks much better on my side. I seem to have the same, but you've got like a 40% thing there. Like I have 100%. Like, does that still look? Huh.
Going to 40. What about 100?
It looks very different on mine. Look at my screen.
Well, I've made changes.
You have? Oh, sure, yeah. I'm surprised that those ones would. I mean, you could maybe just
style I made.
Oh, you're making changes to the. Oh, you added min width in there as well.
Which I thought wouldn't really. Well, I guess it would affect. It shouldn't really affect, because that's not 700. Well, maybe it is now.
You've got an accidental X in your CSS.
So that looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Now it looks okay.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like. That's what it looks like on mine. But
Yeah, I think that's better.
okay.
So all I did was, instead of putting it in the blog, I put it into something more specific. For
Yeah.
Because this is more like the desktop.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's an improvement. It's good. But yeah, but I think potentially, I mean, we could, with those changes, we could merge this into master and just deploy it. I mean, as a.
So what did I do? I changed spacing on blog post.
Yeah, it's a padding, isn't it?
You want me to just merge this into master?
Well, that's what I think we could. You know, I mean, I guess we can always back out of it.
I'm going to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Class, push origin master. Great. Publish.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on the real.
Oh, middleman build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's going on here? There are errors during this build. So there's errors in the build. Undefined title for nil class.
I guess if I pull out master, I can get
the errors now.
Middleman has reloaded. Okay. So I've got it. Let's see. Is this?
So it's barfing on the current article thing.
I mean,
it's saying that's it's saying that it's getting a nil.
I mean, the site is loading for me locally. I mean, I would have thought the problem for you there, you might want to remove your build directory.
Think so?
Maybe. Did it when you did rake publish it failed, did it?
I just delete. Yeah, it was failing hard on a build, but let's see if it works now. Nope, it's failing on a build.
That's okay. Yeah, I get an error.
Man build dash verbose, and it'll tell you.
So it's trying to.
It's trying to get that current article thing, and it's saying.
I think the problem is what's happening is it's trying to build like blog layout as an individual file rather than as a layout. And I think that probably the solution is to rename that so that it's bloglayout.erb rather than bloglayout.html.erb.
I think that's the solution.
Well, let's see.
I'll try it. I'm going to try it on my side.
Yeah. No, I tried that and it failed on my side. It's
still failing.
I guess look at the different. Yeah. Anyway, there's a consistency of having layouts not have HTML. I guess the
thing that's if you run verbose, right? Did you run verbose?
No, but I saw when you did it. Yeah, it's basically saying the current article is kind of nil.
It's nil for
Right. So I think what I assume it's trying to do here is like from the error in the build, it's like trying to build blog layout / index.html. It's trying to build the page by the layout by itself when we don't want it to do that. I guess the alternative thing to there is to move the blog layout into the layouts directory.
Like this?
Yeah, I was just doing it like to reveal in Finder.
Well, are you gonna? I guess you'll drive, right?
Yeah, let's switch there. I guess it's your turn to drive, isn't it? Mm.
What?
I was thinking, yeah, I was driving the last section, so I guess it should be you. Sorry. Yeah, keep on, go on, do what you're doing. Yeah.
And then what do we have to?
We probably have to change config.rb to specify the layout directory, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe it will just. We could just see if it works. Like maybe it will automatically search the layout directory for layouts. Did you want to build there? It's weird.
Hold on. Localhost 4567. I mean, let's see. Let's go to blog.
Oh, is it all seems to be working now?
That seems to be working. Let's do middleman build. See if that actually fixed the problem, though. It did.
Okay.
So then I'll do rate publish. And we'll see.
Yeah.
That should work, hopefully. Something failed. Commands failed with status get checkout GHH pages.
Hmm. I think now this one might be solved by you deleting the build directory.
Really?
Well, I've had an error like that doing rake publish. Like if I've had errors before and the build directory has kind of had stuff in it, then
Halfway
like,
down. And
it's kind of like the GitHub. Then it's like there are files in the way, and there we go. Sorry, I miscategorized the previous error in suggesting that. Okay, yeah. So we've removed the blog.
everything's happy.
Yep.
Now I guess there's more work to be done and moving over. You want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do that.
Post over.
Yeah, I mean the links, the links that I've been posting out are still going to work because they're going to the old thing. So yeah, they can be kind of moved over gradually. I guess the thing I was going to say was, yeah, so it like I think what we've got here now is we've got something that
them out where just on Slack.
I've been tweeting them and sending them on LinkedIn, and getting people from around the world have been clicking and liking them.
Is there a way to redirect to?
I was just thinking about. I think I can probably have blog.agileventures. Have a redirect to the nonprofit site in the Gandhi setup. So I mean, there's a sort of a task for me there, which is I'll get all the content in the right place, and then I'll, move it over, and so on and so forth. I'll just add a to-do to my own list here.
People have been liking them.
The tweets, yes, and on LinkedIn as well, yes. Which is, like in some cases, so like the ones I've been talking about usability, there are some usability organizations that have been liking my tweets of the blog posts, which is quite nice. Feedback, it keeps me going when I'm forcing myself to blog in the morning. Moving blog content over to middleman blog and creating redirect. But yes, actually, I mean, as regards the child strategy, I mean, what we could do now is we could just sort of review Free Range's feedback. I think we've addressed a lot of the navigation issues. There's other content work to do, but so the interesting about like, you know, independently of Charles, having this set up to, you know, where the contact is the nonprofits at adjuvanters.org, we don't have to kind of agree like the things to the precision that Charles wants in order to start sending this out.
Right.
So I think that's a good place to be. Did we have? That's a different thing. But so I guess if we just have a look at what do I want? AV static sites issues. So tweaking ready for release. So we've done those two things there. And I can be. It's now that you can do it here, can't you? Yeah, that's right. And the middleman blog. And so there's more links in project sections. If we look at his issues, yeah. So this is all content stuff that, you know, basically that just needs to get sorted. Then there's about. I mean, there's other thing of like this about sort of content. Yeah, there's more links. We've got that in. Add some more links in. That's to do that. Contact. This I think was his. Yeah, this is what I see. That was his problem. Contact text boxes are. You can see the individual hybrid. That's fixed. Content bit to be front and center. Half of the content is covered at the bottom screen. Yeah, so we have done that. We've break the contact footer. Yeah. So those things. So I think we can close that issue. And then there was his why us. You know, basically, I'm not sure that the showcase is the appropriate thing. We've removed. He's wondering if you actually need 2 pages. So like removed mention of sales and showcases. I mean, we could be calling the case study section a showcase. Who knows? Showcase navigation. We've changed the icon. This
is basically our marketing site.
Right. Change the icon. Can remove later if we want. General navigation. And so
we learn enough about CSS, we can make it look whatever we want. Enough about front end and stuff.
Absolutely.
Should also be helpful. Be a great skill to actually have. Go on.
No. It would be really great to have what?
I was saying it'd be really great to have more front end skills.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think it's I'm pleased with the direction that we're going in here. Yeah. Okay. So I had my own. If we look now at did I pull that out? Static site. So we've actually done.
If you had front end skills, if we had more front end skills, there's also a lot of freelance work you can
do. Absolutely. So I mean, actually, we've unblocked now. Kind of, I could arrange a meeting with Charles next week and say, right, we've now, you know, we've taken the site to the next stage. And I guess the question is, I mean, his strategy is to kind of forward it to some people who he thinks are key influencers. He doesn't like have a specific charities in mind that he wants to approach, and he's hoping that charities and nonprofits will get in contact with us, and you know, he'll then like, you know, start talking to them and selling them stuff. I mean, I guess, you know, for him saying that he wants, you know, 40% and then to be involved in the inception days and get paid for that and this, that, and the other, it's like, you know, I'd rather push this out and have them email us and I'll, you know, see what they're interested in. I don't know that we necessarily need to sign away what ends up being like half of the money we might make on it. For what purpose? I'm not sure. Anyway,
40% is kind of steep, but
Yeah, I mean, and it's, I mean, to be fair to Charles, I mean, he's basically coming from a world where, you know, it's like a far more structured world, and he's just new to that agile thing. I mean, he's sort of saying for the, like, let's have 100% overhead, where 20% is contingencies and 20% is sales, and another 20% is like kind of a smooching thing where you, like, you know, is kind of paying for him to go out and like attend events and this, that, and the other. And there was another 40% that I forget where that was from. But so basically, he's like, he wants to work out, you know, all of the amounts of hours and the hourly rates for everybody, for like, this would be the cost of the project equal to, you know, 10,000, 20,000 pounds. And then we would basically double the cost of the project in order to, you know, come up with a price for the customer. And I'm kind of, it's like
a lot steeper price to the customer.
Yeah, and I mean, in some ways, it's like, yeah, absolutely, put a big overhead on it, and because there's always unknowns, if the customers are willing to pay that, then that's fantastic. But it's more like, I feel like that's the kind of discussion to be had once we've done one or two, like if we do the Harrow thing, and if through distributing this site we had one or two people either contact us, and we did a couple of things, I think we'd then be in a much stronger situation to say, right, realistically, to make this all work, we need this level of overheads and this, that, and the other. So,
right.
Anyway, so no, that's a great bit of work there. We've got that done. So I guess the other thing then now is to say, we're actually out of, you know, I think time to do any large numbers of things left today, but I think the thing that you brought up earlier, which is about what is the thing to bring in the more premium folks, certainly one of the things on mind has been this, like, doing more with Stripe, like to offer more payment plans, and or you know, like a pure donation page. Do you want to think about that? Another, well, or you know, yeah, think about, of all the different tasks, all the different things we could be working on, what are the most efficient or effective ones?
Sure.
So in we come Waffle here. So actually, has Raoul gone ahead and merged in all of the? Let's have a look. He's on fire this week. Is he merged? Pull requests. No, we still got 2 pull requests. Okay, but they're not on the please check thing. Okay, so I've got the refactors filtering for users. So that's the refactor. I can immediately see some other refactorings going in there, but that's nice. We've got label please check there. So this is Puneet. He's also started looking at the GitHub thing as well and getting some useful information on that. So yeah, here's our Epic Premium membership. So we've done this categories of users, haven't we? Now it seems to me probably like a sensible strategy thing for me to do next is to be checking with everybody that they're happy to have, or going out and, like, assuming that this thing will come and get deployed, is adding the mentor and premium tags to the relevant people, right?
Right.
And so you'd be happy to have like a mentor tag on you.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to put it on without. I think you got good communication skills, you know, good knowledge. I think that that there are lots of people who would benefit from pairing with you. You know, and I think if we could set it up so there was people paying you for your time, your valuable time, I think that would be good. Anyway, but what I'm looking to do is see if I can try and identify people who are in the community who would be willing to be paid for their time to do that sort of mentoring.
Right.
So add mentor, premium tags.
Maybe Marion?
Yeah, absolutely.
John is like hyper busy all the time.
Yeah, he'd obviously be great. Many people will be.
He would be great, but I don't think.
He's not practical for him necessarily. But he could. I mean, I think if he was willing to have the mentor tag on it, I mean, I mean, in some ways because we've got this professional development room, you know.
I mean, having the mentor tag doesn't commit you to
No, absolutely not.
mentoring anyone in particular.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that's kind of like a content work and me reaching out to people individually and so on. So, you know, it doesn't require any coding on our part. You know, there is a function here, like clearly if it takes off where people are willing to pay for pairing things as they were doing with AirPair, then having, you know, the support to purchase more pairing hours would make lots of sense. But until we see that any significant numbers of people want to do that, it doesn't particularly make sense to spend too much time on that right now, does it?
Right.
There's sort of a trivial thing here, which is like to put a details link into the payment complete page. It can be done anytime. There's this, you know, if we want to automate adding the categories, I guess I'll throw them in here as other thing. So there's like automatically assign categories, or is it titles, based on plan subscriptions, which would sort of require people to be, or it could fail gracefully, I guess.
Marion says, what if I suck and they ask for their money back?
Or as a mentor, or if she was a mentor, well, I think we would sue them for like defamation of character, wouldn't we?
She's saying she's not confident that she would be a good mentor.
Well, and that's, well, I think that I would be confident that she would be a good mentor because of the experiences that she's gone through. But that's a perfectly reasonable to lack confidence in one's ability. But as you say, having the mentor tag doesn't commit you to actually doing anything. I mean, I think it would basically, you as a mentor, we add you to the professional development channel, and she's already there, and you can give advice or not as you choose. And it kind of, in the long run, then, you know, maybe people might see you as a mentor more through the site, and then say, oh, well, you know, let's have a pairing session or not. But you know, there's no commitment to it.
I just told her that. I said having a mentor tag doesn't commit you to actually doing any mentorship.
Yeah. It's just saying we think you're pretty damn cool, is what it's saying, really. But so automatically assigning categories, title based on plan subscriptions. There's a kind of a wrinkle at the moment, is that you know, Premium won't upgrade cleanly to Premium Plus at the moment. Like, they're separate subscribe plans, and if you like, I mean, at the moment the user has to, like, you know, buy one and cancel the other.
Right.
Currently buy one, cancel other, which is not clean, but at the same time, we don't even really know what the demand for Premium Plus may ever be. So for the same reason, we probably, like, and you know, if we only ever have, you know, a couple of dozen people signed up as Premium, like, none of these make sense in terms of actually.
Marion says she's fine with it, but she says you didn't ask her personally.
Oh yeah, no, well, I would be indeed asking everybody personally. The dun.
But you want her to have the tag, right?
Oh, I think it would be very cool for her to have the tag. But yeah, I mean, that's, as I say, I put that on my to-do list, and separately I'll reach out to people individually and ask them about that. And you know, I'm sort of running, you know, lots of discussions in parallel with different members about what they think about the way that, you know, we're evolving things, and repeat it and trying to get as much feedback as people are willing to give. But so the thing that might,
I noticed Mentors is not live, actually.
Yeah, no, it's not live on the site yet. Well, I mean, I can add a mentor tag.
Yeah.
But the endpoints, I mean, it's in staging. It's on stage. staging at the moment, I think.
I think it will show up on my profile, though.
I think it will. Yeah.
It's just not, the view's not there.
Oh, right. I mean, I'm just adding here, like the things that we've just getting down what we've been talking about is we could have a general donations page,
Right.
which, Stripe in principle will support, and we could have variable levels of contribution for premium. I mean, I think we could have general donations page, which itself could have one-off donations. It could have subscriptions. But one-off donations, and you could have it be variable or fixed options. There could be subscriptions as well, which would also be variable or fixed options. And then we could have variable levels, or fixed options of contributions to premium / premium plus. And then another thing that's been mentioned is, student rates as well. And so, yeah, I mean, sort of, I think it would be interesting to explore through Stripe to do these things. I get the sense from Stripe that these things are possible in principle.
Mm-hmm.
There's one or two people who've said in the past they'd like to do this. We do have like a few $100s of contributions from some other thing that Thomas started, and it would be nice to pull that out of there. And I mean, I can never find that. We've got some sort of I guess it's on the
wasn't it?
It's on the homepage, I think, actually. If we add website one, pictures. Okay, like
Actually get that money though.
I think I don't know. Like we've got this donate thing here. It's like a pledgy thing.
Yeah, there's a pledgy thing.
Yeah. So here we've got like there's this money. I don't know if it's. I'd have to ask Thomas about it.
Did you actually promise on this anyway?
There's 3 donors. We've got 3 anonymous donors.
Oh, this is just like a general fund, Agile Ventures.
Yeah.
I mean, 300 euros would be like euros to pounds. That's like 260 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That would feed you for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm asking Thomas about that. I guess I'll put a issue in the website. 1 new issue, replace pledgee with our own nation framework. Stripe. Yeah, and I think I mean in terms of choosing the next activity, what I wonder is, for the amount of work to get the donations thing set up, how much actual donations would it actually generate? And actually, if you set up kind of one-off donations and it's what have you, maybe people who might otherwise subscribe to premium might go for a one-off thing, and you know, I mean, one-off donations are great in principle, but we have kind of ongoing costs. So I'm much more interested in subscriptions than I am in.
But you can make a donation.
Yeah, you can make it, absolutely, and many charities do have, you know,
monthly donation.
Yeah. So that sort of makes
like at the, you could price it at like the £5 level, and then if people didn't want any benefits,
right,
or whatever.
Yeah. I mean that would make that you know, a potentially interesting thing to work on.
Like, I'm basically thinking of my premium membership as a donation, even though it's supposedly some product. But.
Right. Well, and that's raises the broader issue that I think probably, I mean, it might be the case that although I'm like, oh yeah, we're being agile and we're pivoting on having different kinds of, you know, stuff, that actually maybe we would have, you know, signed up more people for premium if instead of having producty kind of things in there, that it was all focused explicitly on just being a donation and just supporting us.
Well, you could offer a, you know, different levels of. So there's a crazy idea I had.
Go on.
If you get, I mean, there's crazy ideas you could have. Like, you could open. That's crazy.
Oh, I like crazy. Go on.
You know, there's like internet shops and stuff. You could have a swag store.
Right.
I don't know if anyone would actually want that though. With like the Agile Ventures logo on your coffee cup.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Agile Ventures logo on your T-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to do that for the funniest computer ever thing way back when, to have like branded underwear for people to wear.
And people could pay for that.
Right.
And then you'd make, Agile Ventures would make some money off it, and then they'd be a walking billboard for you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if that could be integrated, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, it would be a nice thing to do. Whether, you know, again, with all these things, it's the cost benefit, isn't it, of the for the effort involved in setting it up. For the, I guess what we want is a kind of, probably the thing maybe to do is to do a teaser page for that, where we just, if we got some graphics of it, you know, not do any kind of integration, and basically just put it up and say, yes, you can get these things, and then you know, see if anybody pre-orders. I was thinking there. I mean, it's an interesting question whether just providing student rates on the current premium levels. Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of, you know, I mean, of course, I think the more options that one puts into it, then the more, you know, like almost too many options starts putting people off. Yeah, I guess I mean, with many of these, we'll see how many people mention the different things. But so the other thing to consider is, in the context of that we do, I mean, part of my idea. Oh, go on.
That makes sense now.
What's that?
Marion's saying that at Namely,
yes,
if you refer someone, they get hired, then the person who refers gets $5,000.
Okay.
Because John, like last year, was like, "Would you be interested in working for Namely?" I was like, "Well, I'm kind of in school and stuff." So.
Right. Well, that we could have a referral bonus for you could have, I guess the equivalent is like you could have 10 cents for getting someone else signed up.
Like what?
Oh, I mean, it's like you could have. I mean, we could give basically if you could get a free mug if you help,
Right.
got someone else signed up. We'd have to give you one, I think, almost immediately. But so I mean, I think so that there's lots of, I think, interesting things to think about there, and we can kind of come back around it. The interesting question as well, though, is like to the extent that either of these things, signing up for the Premium or Premium Plus is kind of related to functionality in the site. I guess there's a question of, are there ways that we should be evolving the site to make those offerings more attractive?
Oh. Yeah.
See, it's interesting that this PairProgramming website 1 includes me, but not you. It's also not live.
Huh. I think we're coming up on the scrum, unfortunately.
We are.
So,
but notice that this one says less than a minute here. I think that reflects like a. I mean, I kind of rebooted it at the. I wonder if that. Well, anyway, so go on. What are you gonna say?
Nothing. I don't know what's going on with that, but
I have some theories. I mean, the thing that your friend said was about, to the extent that we know who's doing the pairing and kind of. It feels to me that to the extent that we can even get feedback from, like, so we've got, from the MOOC, we've got quite a lot of people who are spending at least a little bit of time on the site and are being represented.
Yeah.
And I think a mechanism to get more feedback from them about their experience with the site that would actually link to, specific events within the site, so that we knew for the, this. We knew that this thing here was there, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, this guy came in," and anyway. So yeah, I don't know that necessarily connects as strong to this as I would like, but that's kind of, like I said, improving it so that the G Plus links up, so we can see all these people, that we can connect that to their profiles, getting feedback. Okay, and that brings me back to the karma thing. Have you looked at all at the karma system?
Not in the code, but I've read in the Agile Ventures chat where Frederick was saying he might be interested in paying for a reputation or something.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of out of the blue. I mean, I've shown you the Code Wars reputation system before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's the Stack Overflow and so on. I mean, I think that's one of the things where, in terms of like encouraging people to be active within the site, that could be kind of, oh, look at that, his warty mate is coming up on me in terms of the, is he going to trounce me for, yeah, I'm not going to get back into Code Wars right now, but anyway.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with it. Like,
well, I mean, I think at the moment, like, you can, for example, like the guys on Met Plus, right? They I mean, particularly Joao.
Or active in that.
Yeah, he's doing, he's putting a lot of stuff in, but there's no, I think in terms of this site, the only thing that changes is that Met Plus, moves a little bit up this list, and that's kind of cool. But there's no, we're not kind of like, and I thank him, individually, occasionally. But I think in terms of the community, like, if our members list here was ranked in order of, some degree of contribution to the charity projects, right? Oh, right. Did you set yourself to mentor? Did you?
Well, I think you set me to mentor, but yeah.
I did. I think I did. Maybe I did on the line. You're right. Actually, I did. It's showing us online as well. Like, we've got here, like imagine various people look at this. We've got several people who are like, totally not active,
but are towards the top.
Yeah, and I think that there's basically no way for people to move up this. I mean, I think there's an extent to which we want to recognize people for their contributions,
right,
and for their time put in. And in fact, we have.
I mean, the question
Go on.
that I have in regards to karma or reputation or whatever.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be an indication of time contributed? Because to a certain, I mean, like it's tempting to sell people karma.
Yeah, I had not thought of selling people karma myself. Go on.
If you sell people karma, it can kind of like distort that signal.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not immediately inclined to sell people karma. I mean, whether it's called karma or reputation, I don't know. I just know that what we do have in the system was this, nascent karma idea, which basically is actually the system is churning away calculating this karma, and it's not being displayed anywhere or used in any fashion. And the way that I assume it's either just Brian or a combination of Brian and Thomas set it up is that at the moment that you get karma as a function here of how long you've been involved in the Agile Ventures site, how complete your profile is, and how active you've been, like as a function of the number of times you've signed in.
I mean, membership length is kind of weird.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't necessarily agree that this is exactly the right way to, I guess if we were in the ideal world, and I'm saying like, what should it would be, the something like a combination of time in pairing sessions, code contributed, also
issues contributed
related to quality, with some function of quality, issues, and so on.
Black.
Yeah, I mean, I think also it would be kind of, I mean, in the ideal world, what it would be is that you were kind of not just getting this karma reputation for its time spent in pairing sessions, but from being kind of rated as a good person to pair with. And similarly, like you could open 50 issues, but if those issues are closed without associated pull requests, like, there's like, are you a spammer or are you actually providing quality in those terms? So, and it sort of reflects on the things that we think are valuable and so on and so forth. But, in the first instance, we could just make the karma system go live by displaying the karma value and ranking the members directory by karma in order to create a leaderboard. I mean, they've got in Code Wars, they've got, like, you can see this like on a breakdown, and you get honor for completing the kata, for authoring them and translating them, also for making comments, for providing solutions, for referring other people, and for the other achievements, which is when you like get through, you get different ranks in the system.
Right.
So and I think that to have a little like sort of competitive thing like that is potentially we've certainly had comments from a few people over the years about how the difference between the MOOC and Agile Ventures is in the MOOC you can see your progress page, right?
Right.
And so people are like, oh yeah, and I know what I'm doing, and I got to do this thing next, and what have you. Like some equivalent to this of like a reputation breakdown, and you know, this, that, and the other for Agile Ventures.
Yeah, I guess for me personally, I wouldn't necessarily care that much, but
no, and me neither. I mean, I wouldn't care that much.
There are people that would want something like that, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah, as a motivating strategy.
So I mean, not really. Like Agile Ventures is very different from the course. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree. And I mean, for me, in some ways, I'm kind of perplexed at why more people don't take advantage of it. You know, in comparison with the numbers who take advantage of the MOOC and like even when we run the AV102 course. But I think it's partly, I have the intuition that I get from talking to various people about this is that people are kind of quite uncomfortable or confused or what have you with open-ended things.
Right.
You know, they want to know, okay, and they want to see like a progress bar that's like, oh, okay, and I've moved along kind of there, and oh,
I'm getting a horrible error with users now. It's saying internal error.
You are personally?
When I go to the users.
Yeah, that may be our performance issue.
Server coming under load.
Yeah, potentially. Or something even worse. Let's find out. Or it may be that resurgence of that thing that Raul was encountering. So I'm not seeing any error in the logs. Site's taking a long time for me to load at the moment.
It's working for me now.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we've got another issue that air brake is maybe offline. Actually, let's just check the issues. I should start that Scrum. So, I mean, it would. Is air brake offline? It didn't ping us errors the other day. Yeah, but so I mean, you know, we're having the discussion about it. You know, we've got the functionality.
Do you think people are
not
happy that it's a open-ended thing?
Well, I think that people are kind of, when they're making decisions about, you know, whether to do another MOOC versus Agile Ventures, sometimes they're kind of like, oh, well, this other MOOC, that'll be these sort of stages and so on. And it's just sort of like, it's easier to kind of go that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they're unsure, like they're kind of like, oh, I'm going to get an assignment this week that's sort of this long. And they're giving me an estimate of like how this, that, and other.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just going to start the Scrum. I'll maybe see you there.
Right.